And we're live. Here I have the lovely Emma Grunnill. Have I pronounced that right, Emma? Sorry.
Grunnill, yeah, there's no
Yeah.
H.
I'll just say Emma. The lovely Emma. No, I've got to say Grunnill Fitness, actually. And we're here on another one of our lockdown lessons here in Ashdown Jones. And the reason we're doing these lockdown lessons is because it's very easy to sit around in your PJs all day, particularly if you're not at work at the moment, and you might just be feeling a little bit slower and slower and more lethargic every day. So we're here to wake you up with Emma, who's going to give us some fantastic motivation tips. But tell us who you are, Emma, a little bit about you.
So I'm Emma. I run a business called Grunnill Fitness, which pre-lockdown is a completely outdoor based, basically fitness and motivational business, really. I try and empower people to get outdoors, to move as much as possible, and help people come out of things, sort of anxiety, depression, and just help people stay motivated and increase mental wealth. My ethos is that it's not about weight loss, it's about health gain. So I try and not focus on aesthetics, and I focus more on the mental well-being side of how nutrition and moving and being in the outdoors can help you.
I think that there's such a sort of, I don't know, there's a backlash, isn't there, in the media about people who are looking super fit, super toned, but actually they're probably not that healthy because, you know, they've maybe got a bad attitude to eating, maybe they've got, you know, they're addicted to exercise or whatever, and they're doing it all for the aesthetics. But you are the opposite of that. You're saying, you know, that your real health starts on the inside, and it's your mind that creates a healthy body. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I try and get everyone's head around the fact that it actually starts with our mental well-being, because even if you do have an aesthetic goal, so you might be a size 16 now, and ideally you want to be a size 10, if you haven't got your head around actually enjoying who you are and being happy with your body, it doesn't matter whether you get down to a size 10, it still won't be enough and it still won't be right. So you've got to be mentally happy with actually who you are and enjoying what you've got at the moment for any aesthetic goal to work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm the mum of two daughters, and one of whom did, you know, feel the pressure to be a certain way and look a certain way. In fact, when she first went on Facebook, I remember she'd post, you know, she'd change her profile picture, and if you didn't get 132 likes in 4 hours, you know, she would delete it because she'd failed. And there is that horrible backlash for, you know, for the mums of, well, parents of teenagers that are going through this aesthetic pressure. And I think that we need more people like you to be able to say, actually, it's nothing to do with how you look. How you look will naturally improve if it starts off with the inside. Is that
absolutely fair? Absolutely, yeah. As if we can change our mental mindset around actually enjoying how we're looking at the moment and just being confident about what we're wearing and how we're being perceived, and not worrying and not comparing, then any aesthetic and fitness based goals will just come as an added bonus.
Yeah, I think that's so true. So at the moment, we're all in lockdown. This is a very interesting time for some of us and a very challenging time. I'm a natural introvert. I'm actually enjoying this time. I feel like I'm going to be hung, drawn and quartered for saying that, but I've actually enjoyed just getting on with things I wanted to get on with, just me and my dog. But I can see, because I have to take my dog out first thing in the morning, and I just think, well, I may as well put my running stuff on as put my walking stuff on, and then it turns into, you know, sort of exercise.
Doing a bit of a run,
yeah. But I can see how some people might feel really challenged by this at the moment, and really challenged to get out the PJs, go and do something, especially if the weather's not great. Luckily, it has been nice weather. But when you get lethargic, it actually gets harder and harder and harder, doesn't it, to get out the door? And I find that if I feel lethargic, the best thing I can do is exercise, but it's probably the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's there's that age-old saying that is, you'll never regret a workout, but you'll always regret not doing it. But I kind of don't really, any of my clients or anything that I'm portraying on social media at the moment, I'm really not pressuring anybody to go and do a workout, because I just don't think during this time when we've already got this, it's a very odd time that we're in. Nobody needs any pressure to do anything because we're in such a difficult and weird situation. So I think, yeah, just not putting pressure on yourself, but taking it one little step at a time and actually making small little movements in your day so you do feel like you've had some sort of productive day, but not really putting any pressure on yourself.
Yeah, totally agree. So we are trying to be kind to ourselves at the moment and not trying to beat ourselves up. We don't want to go to bed every night feeling guilty. But by the same token, if you move during the day and you get your outside exercise, then you're going to feel better and you're going to be more productive naturally, aren't you? So
yeah, definitely.
You've got 5 tips to share with us about how to get your motivation up and keep it up during this very difficult time. So would you like to tell us about those, Emma?
Yeah, definitely. So my first tip is to actually get outside. So obviously we have a 1 hour of allocated outside time. So even if you don't have a garden, you are allowed to walk out of your front door and really utilize that hour. And I think that it's really, really important that we are utilizing that time, because being outside, we're not looking at it from a fitness perspective, but it's actually so important for your mental health to get outside and to breathe fresh air. So even if you are literally just going to walk to the end of your street and back again for that hour, do it and just really embrace that time that we're allowed to be outside. If you are in a position where you're really not feeling it and you don't want to go for a walk, then go in the morning when you're getting your morning brew or your breakfast or whatever, just go and sit on your doorstep or go into your garden if you've got one, and just really use that time, have a brew outside, because you're getting outside, you're getting fresh air, and there's such a link between being outdoors and being in green space to how your mental health is affected. So even just taking your brew outside and having 15 minutes on your doorstep and just breathing in fresh air will massively improve your mental well-being and how you're going to feel and think throughout that day. So just that small thing, just taking a brew outside in the morning, can really help you.
Now, you spend a lot of time outside, don't you, Emma? Tell us what you do as well as your fitness business.
So I have a farm. Me and my partner have a farm, and basically we've been lambing. Well, we're just coming towards the end of it, so it's been pretty crazy few weeks, but I don't think I've ever been so thankful for lambing time because it's meant that we've obviously had to be outside and we've had to just continue as farming hasn't stopped, so it's sort of been as normal as it can be, and it's been a pretty busy time. So I've been outside as much as I can be, really, just on the farm and not really going anywhere else, obviously. So I've been lucky in that respect.
I think what being outside does for you, particularly where we live, we're so lucky to live where we live. And, literally at the bottom of the lane I live on is a field that leads to another field which has got lambs in it. And, that's how close I am to them. And just standing there and watching the lambs, which is what I did yesterday on my run. And Georgie, my dog, was very closely watching them, as you can imagine. But it just kind of put things in perspective. I think when you're sat in your own 4 walls, your life can kind of close in a little bit. And when you go outside, you kind of go, it's lambing season. We've got lambs this year again. The buds are on the trees again. They don't know that we've got this massive pandemic. It's life as normal. And it just, to me, it helps me put things into perspective. I don't know whether your clients might feel the same.
Yeah, and I think that there's something really in that, just actually taking time to be in that moment and realize, we're in a really weird situation at the moment, and obviously we have had to change our lives as we knew them, but other stuff is continuing and our lives will continue. This is a temporary situation that we're in. Not everything has just come to a halt. Lambing time, carving, all of those things are still continuing, and we will get back to normal eventually. So just taking little things like that and taking a moment like you did and watching it and just remembering that actually this is temporary and we are going to, get back to normal eventually is really important.
Yeah, this too shall pass. Nature reminds us of that, doesn't it? All right, what's number 2?
Number 2 is embracing time. So I find it really funny because I am somebody that is always busy. I get up at anywhere between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, and then on a normal day, pre-lockdown, I won't be getting back in the house until 8, 8:30 on an evening. And throughout that day, I will literally be going from client to client to client, to the farm, back to clients, and I'll just be constant all day. And that's how I like my days to run. I like to be constantly busy. So when we came into lockdown, I was panicking, thinking, what am I going to do? How can I stay busy? I like to be busy all the time. And I really did panic about it to begin with. And I think a lot of people, especially in the kind of society that we're in at the moment, everybody's always busy, aren't they? We're always too busy to phone our parents, or too busy to cook from scratch, too busy to do a workout. And I think a silver lining to the situation that we're in now is that if there's one thing that everybody's got right now, it's time. So we literally don't have any excuses. And from my personal point of view, it's obviously massively made me slow down. And at first I was really worried about that because I don't really like slowing down. But actually, it's been really nice. And I've been training myself twice a day, which I would never normally do. And cooking, I always cook meals from scratch, but I wouldn't normally have tea until about 9 o'clock at night. Whereas I'm having tea at like 6 o'clock in an evening. And I think we can really use this and utilize this time to do things that we have been putting off, or we've been saying for months or years, oh, I'm just too busy. So really utilize this time to make them phone calls, them friends that you've been wanting to meet. You can FaceTime them now, cooking them meals from scratch, or doing the workouts that you've always wanted to do, or reading that book that's been on the shelf for ages. Now we literally don't have an excuse because 90% of us have time, don't we? So just embrace it and kind of flip it on its head. It is weird and it's a rubbish situation, but let's really embrace it and sort of use it as a positive.
So people could actually come out of this situation fitter, more chilled, happier. And actually that is about our mental well-being, isn't it? So I know some people are feeling anxious, and anxiety is a very natural product, of this situation. But actually, if we can look at the positives, and I'm not talking in a Pollyanna way, but things like getting exercise every day where you didn't do before. It's funny, isn't it? Now we've been told we're allowed to do 1 exercise a day. There's families and kids and people on bikes and that kind of stuff that had never done it before, because it's 1 a day. Because when you're limited, you feel like you want to use it, don't you? Like it's a ration. And it's making it into a treat, that 1 a day. So I think that is a really positive to come out of it. But what you've just said is so true, that people need to use this time so that you don't come out of lockdown having been in your PJs for 6 weeks, and in Netflix land, you've actually come out of it healthier and happier. Is that fair to say? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we don't want to put pressure on ourselves to be nailing loads of workouts, but I think that we can definitely take the time now to work on ourselves. And obviously, a lot of people have children and it's hard to keep kids entertained and things. But when those kids go to bed, what would you normally be doing? You'd be getting everything ready, getting lunches packed and stuff for the next day. Whereas now you can use that time for yourself. So, and I know I am one of these people that is scared of time on your own, because I'm a very, very social person and I like to be with people and I thrive off being with people. So being on my own is something that I wouldn't normally choose to do. But this has forced me into that situation. And actually, I'm learning loads of stuff about myself and working on little things that actually I've totally avoided for years. So I think that we can really use the time to work on ourselves, and hopefully post lockdown, it will teach us all just to slow down a little bit and spend more time with people and with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. I love it all. Definitely. I love how this is not just about exercise. It's a holistic view, which is exactly what's needed. What's number 3?
Number 3 is to try something new. So obviously it sort of links into having time. At the moment, we literally have probably anything that we want at our fingertips online because everybody has gone virtual. So you can try anything at the moment that you want. So anything that you've been wanting to do. And I think it's really good from a point of view where people might be quite anxious to try new things or to go to new places on their own, that's kind of been putting them off. Now you can literally do what you want from your front room. So every single fitness trainer, every class, anything like that is now online. So you can have a look and you can just go from your front room and you can watch it online. Things like Bongo's Bingo, they've gone online, so you can literally do that on an evening. There's quiz nights, there's loads of pubs doing quizzes, cooking classes, anything is online right now because everyone's trying to keep morale up and everyone's obviously trying to keep their businesses running. So if there's something that you've wanted to try for a while, or you've wanted to go to that fitness class but you've been a bit nervous or you didn't know if you'd do it, you can do it now from your front room, and it doesn't matter if actually you're a bit rubbish because no one's watching you. So just give it a go. Use the time to have a look what's online and just try something new and just give yourself a new skill or a new outlook on something different.
Brilliant. Yeah, love that. I feel like I want to try something new now. Okay, let's go to number 4.
Number 4 is to celebrate the mini victories. So this ties into getting up and sort of just getting dressed in the morning, because obviously we can't go any further than our gardens apart from our 1 hour. And it's so easy, especially on the weekend, to just think, you know what, I'm not going to get dressed today and I'm going to stay in my pajamas. And sometimes that's totally fine. And if we're going to have a duvet day, then amen, let's do it and chill out. But on the whole, it's really important that we're actually getting up and getting dressed and getting ready as we would to normally leave the house. So something that I've really been encouraging all my clients and my classes to do is to write a schedule for the day, so you actually have some sort of routine, because especially for children, routine massively affects our mental well-being and our cognitive behaviors. So if we're going out of a routine, it can affect how we're thinking, it can affect how we're eating, it can affect how we're sleeping, which all has a knock-on effect to our mental wealth. So celebrating the mini victories, no one's achieving like massive great things at the moment because obviously we're all in our houses, but we're all achieving little things. So if just getting up and getting dressed and getting ready for the day is a win for you, then absolutely take it and celebrate that and give yourself a pat on the back. Or if making a meal from scratch, if that's something that you've not done before, then yes, high five to yourself. Anything small like that, we really need to be giving ourselves praise for and just enjoying the fact that we're winning these mini little battles.
Oh no. And actually I do something called News at 10 every day at 10 o'clock in the morning, where I go live and I say, right, what did you achieve yesterday and what do you want to achieve today? Just one thing, that if you get to the end of the day and you've done this one thing, you'll feel more productive. I heard from my assistant Tilly last night, who said she started tackling her spare room at 8 o'clock last night because she just, she needs to get it done. And that is a massive victory. But I think you're right. We wouldn't have seen these victories before lockdown, but I think we need this routine and this kind of sense of being able to tick things off during the day to make us feel like we're getting somewhere, we're actually progressing during this time. So I think that's good. Yeah. And if you don't come to a lockdown lesson, not lockdown lesson, the News at 10, and I don't mean you, Emma, because I know how motivated you are, but you want a bit of motivation and you want to put down in writing on a comment what you're going to do that day, which is what I've been doing. So I've done it every day for the last 2 weeks, and it's made me do my thing every day, whatever that thing is. Otherwise, I'm accountable to it.
That's it. Writing stuff down has massive credibility, because once you've written it down, that you're accountable for it then. And then once you've done it, you can tick it off, and we all love to tick things off. So writing it down and making sure that you're doing it and ticking it is going to make you feel good.
Yeah, brilliant. Number 5.
So the last one is to stop putting pressure on yourself. I've had a big conversation I have a group, I do a class called Babies and Barbells, which is mums and buggies, and we've continued to do it virtually. And I call them the Strong Mama Tribe, and we've got a group message with everybody in it. And the mums particularly have been finding it very difficult because they feel like they're not being productive and they're not getting anything done, and there's loads of washing and they don't feel like they're doing loads of stuff with the kids. So I had a big chat with them all last week, and I just said, you need to stop putting so much pressure on yourself. It's not ideal that you're not, doing all these things that you want to do, but we are not in an ideal world at the moment. We are not in an ideal situation. We are currently living something that no one's ever lived before, and it's weird and it's really odd, and it affects us all in different ways. So if the only thing that you're getting done that day is literally dressing the kids and making them some tea, then that's totally fine. And I think that we need to stop thinking that we've got to do all the homeschooling, cook all the meals from fresh, get all the washing done, because we don't. This is not an ideal situation, and we're all going to deal with it differently. So if you are only doing one or two of those things and getting out for your hour's walk, pushing in the buggy, then that's totally fine. And you should just praise yourself a little bit for that and stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to do 1,000,001 things, because it doesn't really matter at this time. And let's just roll with it and take each day as it comes.
Amen to that. And I tell you what, being a mum is just all about guilt from morning till night, Drop the guilt. It's not helpful to anybody. And let's just enjoy this time, just so you can just sit and you can take longer to do things, and you can listen to your child telling you about a dream that takes 3 hours, and all those kind of things you didn't do before. It doesn't matter if you don't do Joe Wicks, and then you don't do the homeschooling, and then you don't do Emma, and you don't, well, probably matters if you don't do Emma, but you don't have to do all these things. You're not a superwoman or super person at the moment. Just be kind to yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, brilliant. I love those. They're great, Emma. Thank you so much. They've been really helpful. And actually, I've learned loads, actually, just talking to you. That's been really helpful to me personally. You've got an amazingly generous offer, haven't you? So just tell us about what the offer is that you are giving away.
So I run 4 virtual classes a week at the moment. I do a 6:30 a.m. class on a Monday morning to get everybody up and ready for the week. I do a Wednesday class, a Friday class, and then a Saturday morning class. And basically they can be adapted for anybody at the moment, so anyone can join in with any of them. So I'd like to give a 1-week class pass away to somebody, so you can give it a go and try it out and see how you feel.
Okay, so got feedback there, sorry. The only condition is they have to go and like your page. So we'll make sure that we've linked to it anyway, but we'll link to it again to make sure people can go and like your page. And then you're going to choose out of the new likes somebody to give this virtual pass to. What is the cost of your lessons at the moment, Emma?
What's the what, sorry?
What's the cost of your sessions, of your fitness sessions at the moment?
So while we're virtual, I've made everything half price. So it's around £5 a class, so it'll be about £20 saving for the class pass.
Okay. I'm just thinking if somebody doesn't get the free pass and would actually like to sign up with you, then to get in touch and give you a call, because it sounds like you're doing a fantastic job. And I've been looking at your Facebook page, and I think what you're doing is brilliant, really, really good, really innovative. And the small business owners like you and me that have pivoted just like that, we're the ones that are going to come out this leaner and stronger at the end of it, because we didn't just sit back and go, oh, my business is closed. We kind of looked for ways to get around it. So
definitely.
What you've done is brilliant. Well done, Emma.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Right. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks everybody for watching. And don't forget to go over to Emma's Grunnill Fitness Facebook page, give her a little like, and say how much you enjoyed today's session. And you might actually get a free virtual pass for a week. So good luck. Bye for now.
Thank you.